Today I brought my slinky, just because we're looking at all these fundamental movements from yield, push, reach, grasp, pull, release, as they create this spanda or pulsation, this rhythm of contacting. And I like to think of contacting as a rhythm. I think that's one way we can look at this aesthetic criteria. These fundamental movements are part of the aesthetic criteria from which we diagnose. We see them and we feel them. And in yielding are all these movements as potentialities that become possibilities as the environment invites these patterns to the foreground. Yeah? So it creates this pulsation. So don't you feel when you're with someone else and you're in contact that there is a rhythm, and then you feel when it's broken? And if not, if we lose that pulsation, that sensate experience, we are really influencing our contacting. All this work really is to bring us into this sensate experience. When we talked about yielding and pushing in the womb, that in the fluids, you are yielding with and pushing into as you are meeting the resistance of the fluids, and the resistance as you are placed against the uterine wall, you push against it. Yeah, so pushing is continually constructing of an earlier field. When I say that the push underlies the reach, or that the push establishes the quality of the reach, I reach towards you and other that I already feel pushing against me. That when we're going to do an experiment where you'll see this clearly, that as you reach out, even in the reaching out, you are already feeling the pushing of the other from that earlier field. In the pushing, even the fetus in the womb begins to, as developmentally aware as that fetus is, as developmentally aware as is possible for a fetus, there's, I imagine, a more sense of cohering, because as the push comes from the periphery to the center back of us, back into us, as you had this experience when you did this with your hands, you feel all parts coming together. Here, and also a cohering in the relational field. We saw two videos. We saw one where the push yield with the parent provided enough stability and leverage, because we push away from while we're including the other. There has to be a stable field to find that leverage. So there was a stable field in the first sequence, the first case of mother and baby, so that there was a cohering in relationship here as well as here. We saw the baby sit up when the mother was energetically containing it with its push and reached towards in the first case. In the second case, when the mother was a bit intrusive, the push was not as available and the baby froze. That was the best creative adjustment that baby could make in that moment. So what kind of cohering is happening between me and my mother? What kind of push am I getting, and what kind of push am I giving? You don't necessarily ever need to start with making contact with your eyes. Okay. And when the client feels ready, when the client has a sense of himself or herself on the earth, to then begin, thumbs into the palms, fold your fingers into your chest. Where is your impulse to open or close? How much do I include you in my experience? How little? We have a lot of time. When you feel finished, you let your partner, your therapist know.